it's the way he looks and his body language that he gives off a victim vibes. You know what I'm saying? Even though I haven't really.
And you know who?
Like,
No, he does.
know
like
who
that
he
guy
did
from
that
Man
to?
City.
You know who notices that more than we do? Opponents. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Shirtless Plantain Show, the Arsenal edition. There is no Arsenal game this week, so we figured this is as good a time as any to discuss the squad and how it might change over the summer and what we would like to see going into 25-26, given that we've all kind of accepted, even if people haven't vocalized it, that the league season is over and we're really only looking forward to what might happen in the Champions League. Here to discuss all of this with me are Gabby. What's going on, Gabby? Welcome back.
Listen, I don't want peace. I want problems.
Woo! Got Bowley in the building, and Coach with his bucket on. What's going on, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Good. Welcome. So I think there's a very, very easy way to do this. We just go through the present squad, and I think as we evaluate each individual, we'll kind of realize who gets to go and who gets to stay. I'm not gonna express a whole lot of opinions, I don't think, today, because I think between both of you, we'll see. Between both of you, I think we have disparate styles of recruitment, so we'll have enough to chew on as we go through the squad. And pause on chew, just because I feel like saying pause early in the pod. I want the first pause of the pod. All right, folks. David Raya. I would say, Gabby, you go first. I would like a grade for him out of 5 and what you think happens to him moving forward.
Starter, 5 of 5. No notes. Next.
No notes. Coach, I imagine you agree.
Player of the season. Let's move on.
Player of the season.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely a candidate.
Yeah.
Definitely. Hard to disagree with any of that. I was just watching some of his saves on the Arsenal YouTube, X, Twitter. What is that? Whatever. You know what I mean.
Nigga, you won't be Twitter forever. We don't call that shit X.
Okay, it's Twitter. My bad. And yeah, he's had a wonderful season. Some fantastic saves all year. No need to get into all of that. Urian Timber, I imagine, is very much the same. Gabby, you go first.
He also probably gets a 5 out of 5. He's been really, really good this season, which is not unexpected, but because he was coming back from that ACL, I didn't expect him to play this many games. Like, been very, very good.
Yeah. Coach?
Yeah. Just on the ACL. I think his ACL. He might arguably, between him and Wirtz, might have the best ever recovery from an ACL.
I gotta be honest with you, bro. That belongs to an American football player named Adrian Peterson, who once got in trouble for beating his child here in America. But that's neither here nor there.
I'm talking actual football, not the evil. Like,
hey man, don't talk too much shit. I know you be watching the news. If you say too much anti-American shit, you're not making it here no more. So be careful.
That's fine with me, man. But jokes aside, he's again. You could easily say he would play the season. I wouldn't argue. Like, my main thing is now, do we continue to rotate? Because him and Ben White are both centre backs, basically. That are both right backs for Arsenal that can both play centre back. And do we just keep that rotation and just rotate between them two, between Saliba and whoever is not playing? Basically, their next game most likely will be at centre back potentially. You know, like there's a world where Timber plays right back and Ben White plays centre back. You know, with Western Saliba. So I'm happy with Timber. I think he's just consistent, strong, and represents probably arguably the most Arteta signing since maybe Gabriel. So yeah.
Very, very well said. No notes on my end. Fantastic player. I think he still hasn't fully gotten back to what we saw on those scouting videos when we all went and watched the comps before he came over. But it's coming. And on to Saliba. He's one of the players in the squad that's been, I think even today I saw rumors about Real Madrid on his ass. Again, you know, so obviously you want to keep him, Gabby.
Yeah, of course. Saliba gets like a 4 out of 5 from me. He's been not his like imperial self, but he's been still very good. His level is so high, like his bar is set so high that sometimes he doesn't even meet his bar. At least this season he hasn't. But obviously he's still a starter. He's always gonna be a starter until he leaves. Hopefully never, but
Hopefully never. Coach, I imagine you have the same opinion here.
Yeah, she just made a good point about his standards. Like his standards are so high that it's very obvious when he's not playing well. It's like an 8 out of 10 or 7 out of 10 for Saliba. You're like, oh my gosh, he wasn't that good today. But it's like you extrapolate that for another centre back. Like, oh, that guy was excellent today, kind of thing. That's the level he's at. So you notice it straight away when he's not playing well because of how well he's playing. And yeah, I'm the optimistic one, thinking that if he does leave Arsenal, he's going to leave Arsenal essentially when we're satisfied, if that makes sense. Like more than anything, I don't feel like he's going to leave prematurely, if anything. So yeah.
Yeah, I've always gotten the sense from him that he is far more committed to the club than people think he is.
It's his attitude, I think, that might give off a sort of, oh, I'm just here. I'm here for the ride, not for the cause, basically.
Right, and between that picture of him in an Arsenal kit when he was really young, and some of the things he said, and the fact that everyone thought that his loan spells had somehow created some issue between him and Arteta. I think people still sort of have that lingering fear, but I don't think he's in a hurry to go anywhere. And center backs don't even really peak until their late 20s. They're a bit like goalkeepers in that sense, So he has time, and we will get a lot of use out of him. Hopefully we don't use him like the manager has used a certain Yoruba man in the squad, but we'll get to that later. And also, I just wanted to say, like, that right side, we sort of hinted at this. I think of Saliba, Timber, and White as sort of like a platoon where two of them can also play at center back. Saliba would never play at fullback, but essentially the two other guys are deputies for him as well as center back at right center. So it all works together there. So now we move over to the left side, and this is probably where the most interesting conversation begins for me. Big Gabriel Magalhaes. He's had rumors on multiple occasions about Saudi Arabia. I'm sure we've seen some crazy things over the international break as well. So
I'm Stevie Wonder to the bullshit. I ain't seen nothing.
That said, I know you guys are going to give him a grade of 5 out of 5. Definitely.
Period.
I think he's been our best defender this season, arguably in past seasons as well, but we need to get into all that. But I guess the more interesting question would be, Gabby, how much would it take for you to want to let him go? Because there is a price for every player. So what would the price be for you? And let's be simple here.
A lot. It would be a lot. Obviously I'm the biggest Gabriel fan. That's my boy. I would honestly probably sell Saliba before I spell Gabriel. And I know that's a hot take, but the thing that he has, not just the quality on the pitch, because obviously Saliba has that as well, it's the intangible stuff. The talking in the back. Because when Gabriel's not there and they play without him, you notice. You do. When it's just Saliba back there, we don't look the same. And I just don't think you can replace that. Or at least it's very hard to replace that. For me, he's going for a lot. If Saliba's going for 80 or more, Gabriel's at least going for 70. Like he can't be much less. He just cannot.
Yeah. I think Gabby's underselling both of them. Like both of them are £100 million transfers if that ever happens. Well, easily.
Coach, real quick. Yeah. What is the world record transfer for a defender?
75 mil.
Was that Guardiola, maybe? I think.
No, actually, no. Guardiola is the Guardiola.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. Guardiola was about 90 potentially.
He was about 90. Which is crazy, but that's Pep. After him is VVD, I think.
Oh, VVD was 70?
75.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about.
And Vardiol, I think, eclipsed that.
I was gonna say Vardiol. I remember was that 90?
I think so.
Yeah, it was around 90.
And I would argue that
Go on.
Go ahead, Coach.
I'm gonna literally Google it now. You guys can keep going.
That said, I want to say that if either one of our center backs were to go, it would have to be a world record for defender transfer, I think.
Exactly.
The price. But that said, if someone came with a world record offer, would either one of you be willing to let either one of those guys go?
If
Um,
there's somebody that they have that they can replace them with, I mean, you can't really replace them, but you know what I mean? Like, good enough? Maybe. That's a maybe. Not even a definite yes.
so here's my thing. Again, with the intangibles, selling Gabriel and getting money in is great, kind of thing. But there's a clear leader, not only just in our defense in our team, and it's Gabriel, and that that is just hard to replace. Like that is very very hard. Yeah, Guardiola is the most expensive defender of all time. So, and I'm not being funny. He doesn't come close to either of those players. Like he just doesn't. He score the
Well,
goals you want, mate. It
I
don't
just
matter.
feel like selling Gabrielle would be like selling Matt Hummels to like a team like Bayern or something. He goes win something, and then you had to bring him back. I'm sorry, like
Yeah, but
he
it doesn't come.
must.
It doesn't come at the same. He doesn't come at the same player. But my thing is that yeah, there's a price for everyone. My thing is Gabriel. If he's gonna go Saudi, then yeah, take them for everything that they've got. You know, literally 120 million and 120, 130 million, and he's yours. But personally, I just wouldn't sell. I literally just wouldn't sell at all. Um, and I get it. I get the whole sort of retooling, like what we can do with 120, 130 million. We could probably find a similar profile, left-footed, big, dominant defender that dominates in both boxes, all that kind of thing. But are you willing to risk breaking up that partnership before, at least before they won anything? You see what I'm saying? Like little things like the fact that both of them communicate to each other in French as well. Those are big things. Like I just don't know if I'm ready to put it as, had we won the league at least once in the last 3 years, then I'm like, okay, do you know what? Fair enough. I'd rather not break up this partnership until we won something at least. Let's just see in it. So
yeah,
Agree.
that's
I say
fair.
put it like this: I'd sell Arteta before I sell one of them out the door.
No,
steady.
that's a quick no from my end. Arteta is actually the only overall. Spoiler alert: the only person who gets sold after Arteta or before Arteta, or that doesn't get sold. Put it that way.
Saka.
Would
Let
be
me guess.
Saka. That's it. It's Saka, then it's Arteta, then we can talk about the rest. But those are the two that are like to me integral to the project. You know, like without either one of them, then to me it's a whole new project. We're starting over. That's what that means.
Basically, yeah.
Okay, we move on to the next one. This is going to be very quick. It's MLS since he's officially the starting left back at the club. I think this is a good point for you guys, Steve, since she shower praise on a Haaland graduate that has had a wonderful season and week despite some unfair red cards, in my opinion. Gabby?
Listen, no weapon formed against him shall prosper. Okay, because I knew he was gonna. As soon as I seen he in the lineup get his first start, I said he's gonna score. I just know it. You just felt it in your bones, and I was like, you see what happens when you have a fullback that's fit, that wants to play all the time, that wants to get in the box, because Luke Shaw ain't. Listen, he ain't been fit for a while. A prime Luke Shaw is good, but MLS's ceiling.
Yeah.
Sin.
I'm of the opinion that we just have to get out of the idea that MLS is going to be left back for Arsenal or England. Like, and I get it. And just a quick shout out to Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw is one of my favorite players, man. He's just fantastic. But he's fat, but he's fantastic.
Coach, he is not a malnourished white.
Yeah, definitely not. He's definitely eating his greens,
He's
man.
very nourished.
but but yeah, that aside, like MLS is, oh man, like there's gonna be a day where he starts in midfield and someone's favorite midfielder is getting put in a body bag. Might even get put in 2 or 3 body bags because he's gonna eat him alive. Like MLS is going to be an amazing centre midfielder for Arsenal and England. Him playing at left back, I liken it to going to the mountains and getting your reps up, getting your weight up, kind of thing. He's doing his time at left back because that's where he's required right now for Arsenal, kind of thing. I guarantee you, had he started in midfield for Arsenal, given the same performances, he starts in midfield on Friday for England. You see what I'm saying? Like that's where the Tuchel would have put him, but he's doing a job there. England don't have a left back right now. It makes sense. Yeah, he's not going anywhere. Straight 5 out of 5 from me. But the boy is a centre midfielder. And probably later on in the pod, we'll talk about options in midfield and where they play. And he fits all the way in there with me, for me, pause. So,
Fair enough. Gabby,
I was mad still. I went mad still.
Gabby, you got to catch
That
up.
was bad.
That's one
That was
pause. That's another
crazy.
pause. Now you got to catch up. Before we
Oh
move
my
from
god.
MLS, I think we all accept based on what we saw from the clips and the games and from his youth career at Arsenal, that yes, this is probably a midfielder in the future. But within Arteta's current system, where do you think he fits best, as the 6 or as one of the 8s?
That's a good question. Personally, I think he fits as one of the 8s. I think that's where he should be. Um, but knowing that who we're gonna be losing, he'll probably be fitting as one of the 6s. Um, I still, I mean, granted, we didn't get to the squad building part, but I still have him in my defenders for next season because I think we need to buy a lot in midfield. Even though MLS can play there and he should play there.
Well said. Let us move on to, oh God, I completely messed, because the way I made my list, I already have the potential new transfers in my list. So my number 6 here says Zubimendi, but in actuality, it's number 5, and we can keep this very brief. He will be moving on, and as Alexander Isak says, get the fuck.
Yeah, cut the cameras.
Get the fuck. All right, we move on to Bukayo Saka. There's not much to say there either. Or actually, you know what? Sorry, guys. Let's stick with the midfielders. Jorginho. I hear rumors that the manager wants to keep him for yet another year, even though he's not really playing. It feels as if I haven't personally seen it with my eyes because I'm not really good at detecting this sort of thing. But according to OG Clyde from the Arsenal Vision podcast, he feels like Jorginho's legs have gone a little bit. Have either one of you noticed that yet? I don't particularly think he had legs to begin with.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the main thing Arteta wants him for is, I'm gonna liken it to Tuchel and Henderson. Basically, that's what he's around for.
Culture.
Culture. He's a very, very smart man. Like, he's incredibly smart. And probably to help. Funny enough, probably not just to help the younger players, probably to help with Declan Rice as well, more than anything. There's a lot of stuff that Declan Rice can learn from. Tons of stuff, to be honest. And I think the more that Arteta kind of uses him for that purpose, the better for Arsenal. So I'm not mad at him staying personally. Give him the Kakarot Cup minutes. Give him the early FA Cup round minutes. Give him the rest before a big Champions League game minutes, kind of thing. I'm okay with that. I'm not too fussed. And it's the culture thing. I'm happy with him to stay for another year, man.
Okay, well said. I would personally like for him to stick around, but if he happens not to, it's not the end of the world. But I would love
Agreed.
if he stuck around. I would love if he stuck around. All right. On to the captain, Martin Odegaard. He's obviously
God,
staying.
you about to be a hater.
No,
Where are you about to go?
What is he doing?
Hold on now, guys. I think the really interesting bit in this evaluation, we know he's not going anywhere. He only signed a new contract, I think, before was it last summer he signed that contract? So he's around for a while,
So.
And despite my issues with him, I don't think he needs to go. That's not my feeling at all. I just think we need more support in the creative areas of the field, I think, which will put less of a burden on him and maybe allow him to play in different areas of the pitch. But the more interesting question for me, Gabby, is what would you rate his season out of 5?
Man, I think he's had a really not great season, which is saying something because he hasn't been horrendous, but his bar is high as well. I would say maybe a 3.5. Maybe I can't give him a 4 because I just don't think he's been good enough for a 4. I think last season was a 4 for him, if not a 4.5. He's just been, and granted he had the injury this season where he was out for a couple weeks, but he's just been not himself. He's just been not himself, been really sloppy, specifically sloppy, especially in big games, especially in the final third, not really in the midfield. He knows how to play the metronome, keep the ball ticking around. But when we get to the final third, he's just not been decisive, not been, I don't even know how to describe it. He just every time he's shooting, you just know he's not going to score, if that makes sense. And not in a Kai, I know people say that about Kai, but it's there's no, yeah, exactly. There's no conviction. And I'm just I don't know if you need rest or you just need somebody to carry some of the burden with you, which is probably what I think it is. He needs somebody turkey to carry the burden with him. But like, yeah, he gets a 3.5 from me, but he stays.
Absolutely, Coach.
I think a 3.5 is too high for me personally.
It's mad generous, mad
Yeah.
generous.
It is mad generous, but I just couldn't.
I'll be honest. It's below a 3, but it's probably like a. If I'm being really technical here, it's probably like a 2.8 for me from him.
Yeah.
Like something like that, because and it's not because he's bad and he's rubbish and I hate him and I just think he's this, he's that. It's more of a like we know how good you are kind of thing. And I'm gonna be generous here and say I do think he's not been right the entire season because he's been probably carrying something the entire season. That's what I think. I think he came back from the. If you remember the game against Chelsea, he didn't do anything in that game apart from the assist. Right. He literally came alive for that sequence, and all he did for the rest for before that and after that was just try and plug passing lanes like when we didn't have the ball and just kept it simple. He didn't really do much, and I'm not gonna say he got rushed back and then his body just hasn't been the same, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. There's been games where it's like, okay, no, he can't be carrying injury, like the PSV game. And I'm thinking, yeah, even the Chelsea game as well, like he looked a bit spry here and there kind of thing. But yeah, I'm not convinced of him being our chief creator if we're going to be successful. And I don't saying that he needs to come out of the team, but I think we're here now. When I mentioned talking about the left 8 options kind of thing, I think it's time to try him there. And if we're going to try him there, potentially drop him back just deeper and play with an actual number 10, which I hate the idea of, I really do. But I really dislike it. But I feel like if we're going to keep him in the team, that's probably the best way to do it. Let's make him metronomic and just let him punch lines, because we know he can do that. He can punch lines all day long, and we know he's going to attract plays. We know he's going to find an exit pass. I'm happy with him to do that.
Okay, so, yeah. Well said. This is a good point for us to take a detour, because as the host of the pod, it's my job to maintain some sort of structure here. But I've already fucked that up, and I apologize. There's no way to unfuck this, guys, because we're supposed to do maybe one group of players at a time, but I've now gone into midfield. So this is a good spot to talk about the guy that was supposed to be his understudy, Ethan Nwaneri. So far, he's mostly played in the front line because of Bukayo's injury. But I think there's a deep lying suspicion among the fan base that if someone is going to force Arteta to move Odegaard somewhere else on the pitch so he can still be a starter, it's going to be that kid. Do you think, based on what you've seen of Ethan so far, Gabby, that how close do you think he is to pushing Odegaard away from his current position?
Not as close as people think he is.
Yep.
I think that there are some games that Ethan gets swallowed up a little bit. Pause.
Hey, we hit the trifecta.
But he's still a young player. So like, there's a lot for him to learn. Especially because he's so goal focused. Like, Ethan wants to get the ball and shoot. He's a shooter. I think he's more of a shooter than he is a creator, actually, which I don't mind because I don't think we have enough shooters in our team. But I don't think he's as close as people think he is. And I do agree with Coach that I think I want to see Odegaard on the left. I've been calling for that for a while. I think the left needs some help. And I actually do want to see a 10 in our team. Like, I think Odegaard needs somebody to, granted, it could be an 8, but Odegaard needs somebody to carry some of the creative burden for him, because it can't just be him and Saka. Even when Saka was here, we weren't creating enough chances. We were passing the ball a little bit too safely, and I feel like if it's all on them two, it's not going to happen, because teams are playing so deep against us that we have to figure out another way to get someone else who's I'd say who's a Xhaka, somebody who else is another presence who can pass it and play the ball. And that could be Ethan, but I don't think it is yet, if that makes sense. I will say I have him in my midfielders. For my squad building for next season, he's not in the forward line. I don't want to see him on the wing. I mean, he can play on the wing and he's good on the wing, but I want to see him in the middle. Agreed. And that's where I think his future is.
Yeah. Coach?
Yeah, I think I'm the opposite. I think I do want to see him in a forward line. Yeah, I definitely want to see him. The hallowed Bakayo backup or rotational option. I think just keep him there. It's fine. Like that's money saved as well, and we can focus on. And I'm not saying he's going to be stuck there forever, because of the way we're playing. And I feel like Arteta has hinted at it. Everyone's free to kind of do what they want once the ball progresses there, kind of thing. So he will be playing as a 10 at some point, in phases of playing whatever else. So I'm not too mad at that. In terms of the actual number 10 and the profile of it, I feel like it heavily depends on what we're going to do with Saka now. If Saka comes back in the team and Arteta says, just keep doing what you're doing on the right wing, be our star man on the right wing kind of thing, then I feel like our number 10 has to shoulder some, not only creative burden, but some goal burden as well. And I don't feel like we're ever getting that 15-goal Odegaard ever again kind of thing. So that current player is not in the squad. Potentially it could be Wanyeri if we want to play him in midfield. But I'm leaning more to probably some more recruitment there. Yeah.
All right. I'm going to do something tremendously silly. And let's go back to the left backs, because we have a lot of them. We know Kieran Tierney is leaving. We're kind of going to miss him. I remember when we used to think he would be the club captain at some point, young Tesco and all that, but he already has
what could have been.
Yeah, what could have been if only his health held up. We will now talk about the prettiest man in the Premier League, Ricardo Calafiori. What is his grade for the season so far, Gabby? Keeping in mind that he has now done himself another injury, just like the last. Like, he literally fell the exact same way. What the fuck is wrong with this dude, man?
I don't know what's happening to him. Like,
someone check me. Is he wearing studs or blades? Because I'm a stud man.
Like, the way that he fell, I was like,
of course you are, you lesbian.
I don't like that non-contact injury. Like, he was also limping out of the stadium. It might not be as bad as we think it is.
They said 3 weeks,
but
so.
Yeah, so it just kind of is what it is. The way that he plays, he just is gonna get injuries at this point. That's how I feel. However, I guess my rating for the season for him would be a 3.5. He hasn't been fit enough, but the moments he has been fit, he's really showed his quality. Especially in the attacking third, like, he's so good. Like, that boy can be a makeshift striker for real. I just feel like he still needs some time to, like, actually play enough games in a row, not be hurt, that he can play at left back. Because he's still a little bit too proactive, if that makes sense. He wants to nick the ball away so bad that he'll get himself caught out, and I think that's how he has repeatedly gotten done. In that Man City game, it happened with Doku or Savio. I can't remember who it was.
But that was it. That's what he gave him after that. That's what he gave him after that.
It did happen again. I can't remember. It happened recently, but I was just like, you know what? You've been scoring, so I don't even care. Like, somebody has to come over and cover. If it's Gabriel, I'm cool with it.
Like, ultimately, I feel like the Gabriel, Big Gabby, like, part of the reason why we keep hearing these rumors about a transfer have to do with the fact that Calafiori is already at the club. And ultimately, I think a lot of Calafiori's issues on field defensively have to do with the fact that he's never going to be a left fullback. Like, we may use him there, but that's never really going to be his thing. He's just too big for that. Like, you can even tell from the way he gets injured. He runs like a man that doesn't realize that he's 6'2". He runs like he's 5'2". Then he moves his legs like he's 5'2", even though he's 6'2". Then he does the splits all the time and injures himself. So it's weird with him. But Coach, what's your rating for him? And
I think 3.5 for me as well. Actually, to be fair,
okay.
I think his quality on the ball is so high that I can allow for the quote unquote bozo whatever's, even though he's still 22 years old. Like, he's younger than a lot of players in this squad. He's one of, put it like this. After, I think it's Wanyeri, Miles, and then him. So that gives you a sort of an idea of where he's at in terms of his career. And this is his first, his first time being in a big club and whatever else kind of thing. So yeah, he's still a kid, man. But yeah, I love him. I think he's, whether we play him centre back or left or left back kind of thing, I'm okay with that for now. The evolution of where he is in the next 2 to 3 years really depends on how many goals he wants. Like, seriously, he's that type of player. I feel like he potentially could be a game breaker from left back, from some centre back. You know, making those carries that he makes for Italy, for Arsenal, kind of thing. I know Saliba's fantastic at them. I know Gabriel's got better than them, but Gabriel, to me, is a passer more than he is a carrier. Like, he's a fantastic passer. I feel like Calafiori does both. So yeah, Arteta's leaning into that clearly, and he recognises these qualities. So all this talk about Arteta being strict and this sort of blah blah blah, he's not going to have a player like Calafiori in his defence of all places. You know what I'm saying? If he's not trying to lean into a bit more unpredictability.
Like, I still believe that, all our complaints about the left side needing help for the past couple of seasons since Xhaka left and all that. I think the main piece of help that Arteta was thinking of was Calafiori. I think that's the main
Which
reason
is sickness. You going to get a center back or a left back
like
on the left side.
I think within Arteta's system, the room for the most crazy ideas is at left back, which is why we'll now move on to Zinchenko. I feel like most of us have, if not, okay, there we go. Spiritually, we've moved on at a bare minimum. He had a nice cameo in the Champions League in that dead rubber against PSV and did something that our captain has failed to do for many, many months at this point. But
now why you had to add that in there?
But it seems we've all moved on. Coach, I'll let you sort of evaluate his time at the club and how much you think we might be able to get for him if we put him on the market this summer.
Yeah, I don't have any really bad things to say about him because of how much he gave us in that, especially in that first year. As I said, he changed our world basically. So yeah, and I think as well, it's important to note as well, despite him having less Premiership experience than Bukayo Saka, which people will be shocked to hear, he generally does. He's a leader. He's a leader in this team, kind of thing. So I appreciate what he's done. You know, his experience. You know, winning, quote unquote, winning with Man City. So yeah, I won't be mad at him for that kind of thing. But I do feel we might have missed the trick a little bit, maybe even last season, by not trying him in midfield maybe a little bit earlier than this season. So there's probably a little bit left on the table there. But yeah, I wish him well, wherever he goes. How much we get for him will be very... how many years he's got left? 2 years? Is it 2 years?
No idea.
We signed him in 2022 and went to... I think he's got at least a year left.
Right.
We'll be lucky to get 15 million for him. I'll be happy if we get him.
Should have sold him last summer.
Yeah. There were rumors that Dortmund had interest in January. Obviously, the club was trying to get something done, but nothing happened, and that's fine. But yeah, my feelings are
Jason Ito!
Leave the man alone. Nobody knows what anyone does. Come on, stop it. All right. One more of our... Well, we have two more here. Jakub Kivior. He's been less present than he was last season, especially as he moved to the second half of the season. But Gabby, what do you think? You've always been a bit of a fan. What do you think about his season so far? Give him a score out of 5. And do you want him to stay or do you think he should leave?
Honestly, I feel like I almost want to give Kivior not applicable, like an NA, because he's played so. How many even minutes have he even played? Like, he's played so little. I feel like I don't remember any Kivior performance from this season, genuinely, and that's not just because of performance-wise, which hasn't probably been great, but just because he's played so little. He'll probably get a 2.5. I don't know. Kivior has to go for me. And I'm a Kiwi Hive person. I love him down, but he's just not. I don't think the Prem is for him, number one. And also what Arteta needs in his center backs and his left backs. He's not a left back, but what he needs is not what Kivior has. He needs time and space to pass the ball. I think passing the ball, his passing is one of his best attributes, and he has done so little of it since he's been here. And he's constantly running. I mean, granted, he's played more left back than center back, but he's constantly running with his back, back towards his own goal, and he's not good facing his own goal, basically. Yeah, he can't deal with he's basically like a Ben White light, but even worse, if that makes sense. He can't really overlap. He's really not good with tricky wingers or fast wingers. He always gets done on that side. He tries really hard, but I just think that he has to go back to Serie A. I think we'll see the best of Kiwior when he goes back to Serie A. We have to sell him. And I think we needed this season to see that we had to sell him, if that makes sense. I don't think we needed this season for Zinchenko. I think we should have sold him last summer because I think Arteta knew for a fact he wasn't going to play him this season. But yeah, it's unfortunate.
Fair enough. Coach, I don't feel like you need to add anything to that. I think with Kiwior, it's just mixed feelings. Like no one thinks he's part of the future of Arsenal.
Him.
What's that?
I'm actually keeping him, to be honest.
Yeah, well, I'm happy to keep him if he's happy to stay. But I don't think at his age and given the minutes he's gotten in Arsenal that he should be happy to stay. If he really wants a career in this game, he should go. He should go play at a club where they'll play him at left center back, which is his position.
I agree.
Barely played at Arsenal. Barely.
Yeah, every time he comes into the team, he's never plays with Saliba. Like he's always playing right centre back, which is unfair on him. It's straight up, it's just unfair on him, but he does a job for the team. I personally haven't seen any of the frailties that people might be afraid of. It's more of it's the way he looks and his body language that he gives off victim vibes. You know what I'm saying? Even though I haven't really seen him.
And you know,
like that guy from Man City.
You know who notices that more than we do? Opponents. Because his moment of the season in my head, I'm just thinking of when Mateta bitched him when Crystal Palace came to the Emirates. That's all I can think of.
Yeah, to be honest, I was thinking more of the Salah goal. Is it the Salah goal at the Emirates kind of thing? Yep. But again, that wasn't really his fault. But at the same time, you know, the decision he made to essentially, you know, the decision he made basically gave Darwin the space. But with that being said, all of our defenders, whoever they're all excellent and they're all excellent in their own right. But they are protected by the system. Like that's just the bottom line. Like the way Arteta plays, we are like, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's what coaches are there for, to get the best out of the players in their most favourable conditions. Nothing wrong with that. Kiwior, I generally feel like with a more settled team around, if he comes in to fill in for someone kind of thing, he's gonna be fine. Like he's legit gonna I have no issue with Kiwior playing as a rotational option. Like there's no issue. The only thing is I feel like people are upset that a third choice centre back looks like a third choice centre back. That like I don't get the thinking behind. I have no like. Yeah, we want to raise the places where you should be annoyed at that. I feel like it are more an attack. Your second choice attacker shouldn't look like a second choice attacker to me personally. I feel like they should be banging on the door every week. Whereas with centre backs, I'm a little bit more lenient with them. But that's just me. But yeah, what Gabby said isn't particularly wrong. I just feel like we've just been a little bit unfair on him because of the standards that our other defenders set, personally. So,
yeah, I was gonna include this next person in a separate section for the broken boys, but he's a defender, so let's get out of the way right now. Tomiyasu, I want to go first on this one. I love that player, I really do. I just need him to play once he's healthy. I don't know when it's gonna be. I think they say he's supposed to be getting better towards the end of this year. Personally, as long as the guys in front of him don't all break down ahead of them, I'm happy to wait.
I'm happy to keep him. You already know how I feel about Tomiyasu. I'm not selling him. I'm so sorry.
You know, I'm gonna straight up grade him a 5 out of 5, and he played for 6 minutes this season. So fuck it, Coach. What you got?
To be fair, no, let me go first because that's my boy. To be fair to Tomiyasu, like I'm not even joking to you. I saw some clips the other day on Arsenal's Twitter. And they were saying like some assists or some goals for Martin Odegaard or something like that. And I was like watching Tomiyasu maraud forward, and I was just like, "Damn, I miss you bad." Like he's just 100%. He's our second best everything in the back line. He's our second best everything. He's our second best left back. He's our second best full back. Like center back. When he's ready to play, that's who's going to play. Yeah. If it's not Saliba or Gabriel, he's going to play, period.
Arteta loves him. Coach, let me ask you this question in your evaluation of Tommy. Who's the better 1v1 defender, Tomiyasu or Timber? Yeah, that's hard.
It's probably to be honest, it's probably Timber because he's more nimble. But Tomiyasu's a beast, isn't it? Put it like this: Tomiyasu's fitness to me is like we put it like this. We found out our 2025 Abu Dhabi. He's
I
just
knew
a
you'd
Japanese
go
man.
there.
Why do you like this?
His value skyrockets the more he doesn't play. And look, I'm happy to keep Tomiyasu. Love him as a player, kind of thing. But I just feel like we have to be honest and say, like, look, we're not dependent on him in any way, shape, or form. And it's sad because of his quality, kind of thing. But I just feel like, put it like this: if we're being honest here, Kirio has been of more value to us in the last year than Tomiyasu has. Like that's just the the reality of the situation. Now, if he's only 26 to be fair. If he miraculously gets over his injury issues, then we have one of the best rotational pieces in football. Like point blank period. We do, but we have to live in the real world as well. And this is coming from the eternal optimist, So yeah, love him as a player, but I'm very, very indifferent to him at the minute.
This eternal optimist thing you're doing now. I'm not really feeling this
He's
gimmick. Okay? I
lies
know
and
you, nigga.
deception.
I know you. We're in a group chat together. Don't give me that shit. I don't want to hear that shit no more. I remember the Emery era. Oh, this nigga was dark as hell. It was awful. It was so awful. I almost abandoned our friendship. I was like, this nigga is terrible. He's so negative.
I was right, though. I was right.
I mean, shit, man. I mean, nobody was wrong in that era. Put it that way. It was terrible. It was terrible. All right, let's move back to midfield now. Hopefully, I've gotten us back on some kind of track, but we'll see how I screwed up again.
Perhaps.
Mikel Merino, best number 9 in the league over the last 4 weeks, I would say. Gabby, what do you make of his season, and what do you think we can expect from him next season? Because I think we definitely haven't seen enough to make a full evaluation.
I honestly give Marino like a 3.5 out of 5, which is high. But I say that because he's not playing in his position. He's doing the best he can at 9. He should not be playing at 9. He should never be playing at 9. But he is scoring goals. I say that. And important goals. He scored even before he started playing at 9. He was scoring important goals for Arsenal, and I think that weighs at like 0.5 for me. The goal against Liverpool, the win against Leicester. I just think those, the 2 against Leicester. It's just, I think those games, like, those are the important moments that, like, somebody has to show up with something. And if it's going to be our squad player, I'm not going to hold against you the fact that you're playing out of your position, or even when you are in your position after you came back from a long injury where you didn't even have a preseason with this team, you have no chemistry with any of your teammates. Like, I'm not going to hold any of that against you. It just kind of is what it is.
Fair enough. Coach, when the season started, a lot of us thought that our starting midfield was going to be a middle-class trio of Declan Rice at the 6, Merino at 1-8, and Odegaard at the other 8. Obviously, the Saudi target decided that he didn't want to see that and crocked Merino in his first training session. With that in mind, given that expectation that he was going to be the starting left 8, how do you evaluate his season? Because I know you haven't been as high on him as I've been. And that was even before he started doing the auxiliary striker thing.
It's not that I wasn't high on him. I just feel like the assessment of what he is and what he's going to bring to the team was wide of the mark. Like, I think he's a really, first and foremost, I think he's a really, really, really smart player. Like, smarter than a lot of people. Probably his intelligence and decision making is probably his best attribute, more than his physicality and his drooling, to be honest. But I'm gonna give him a 3.5 out of 10 purely for the fact that
out of 10.
So out of 10, sorry, out of 5, my bad. That was Freudian. Out of 5, purely for the fact that when we need that Leicester game, like, if Arsenal were to win the league this year, kind of thing, we look back at that Leicester game and think, shit, that's where it all started, basically. And in that moment, he stepped up. Against Liverpool, he stepped up as well. Again, my whole thing is that, again, to me, he'll never be more than a rotational piece. And putting him into the starting 11, I think, at the beginning of the season was so premature and so, like, guys, come on, let's be serious. Like, to me, he was never ever going to be a starter for us, ever. Even if he wasn't fit. Even if he was fit.
I mean, we'll never know. Yeah. But I can't agree with that, because I think the squad planning took place with no faith in number 5's hamstrings. And that dickhead has somehow stayed fit all season and ruined everything, like in good and
The
bad ways alike.
contract year, Juju.
That's exactly what he did. He gave us a full Paul George, but that's okay. We don't have to resign him, so it's all good. Let us move on to Declan Rice. He is my personal choice for player of the season so far because I refuse to give that to a goalkeeper. That makes us seem like a poverty-ass club like Man United, who gave it to David De Gea like 20 seasons in a row, to my recollection. Gabby, what have you made of England's future captain?
Listen, he might be our future captain too. He might be. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I I wouldn't hate it if he got player of the season. I wouldn't hate it. I mean, how can you? He's been so good for us. Even in the games that he hasn't been good, he's still probably better than everybody else. Like the games where everybody's played like shit, Declan Rice has played been one of our best players. And he just he definitely has I talk about the intangibles with Gabriel, but he has them too. He has them as well. In that midfield, he is a yapper. Like he's constantly talking to his teammates, and even when him and Gabriel had that little like thing, which wasn't even a thing on the pitch, like you could see the way that he has that togetherness with his squad. He just wants us to be good. He wants us to be great. He wants to win things with Arsenal. He talks about that all the time. We didn't pay £100 million for no reason. Like we are not Man City. We don't just splash cash for no reason. Genuinely, I feel like if we had better attackers, Declan Rice would have been even better than he was this season. Would have been even better. Like even if we had gotten somebody who was actually a Xhaka replacement, not a Marino, somebody like a Bruno G or someone who played in that left spot, and he didn't have to play there, he'd probably get a 5 out of 5, maybe a 6 out of 5. I still think his future is at the 6. Personally, I want to see him at the 6. I know he's good at being an 8, makeshift 8, where he can maraud up the field, and he's getting better at his attacking output and being more creative. But like, I just think that's where he's best at, and he always shows his quality when he's playing at the 6. Always.
Coach, I feel like you're going to disagree with some of that.
No, him playing at 6 for me is not an issue. If we're changing our style of play, basically, if we're changing our style of play, then yeah, play him at the 6 because yeah, it's fine. As a ball dominant team, it's just hard for me to envisage him playing at 6 for us. Like, or playing as the lone 6, should I say, for us. If we're gonna go to a double pivot and we have 2 6s that both go box to box or go up and down together, no issue with that as well. But as a lone 6 for a ball dominant team, I said it last season twice, 3 times, said it this season again. The volume of passes forward for me is the issue. Not the fact he can pass forward, he can break lines. It's the volume of it. A ball dominant team needs to have a high volume passer at the base of the team, regardless of what shape that comes in. Whether they're a physical specimen, whether they're tiny, whatever else, you just need to have that. And I'm still not convinced personally on that. But everything else Gabby said, yeah, Declan Rice is a man in it. He's just a man. He's a leader. You know what I mean? Like, even when things aren't going well, like him making a tackle, him chasing someone down kind of thing, it gets the team going. It gets us up. It boosts us. It gives us that extra 5-10% that we need sometimes. So yeah, I love him. If he turned around and said, "I would name him captain tomorrow," I'd feel bad for Odegaard for all of 0.5 seconds. I'd be like, "Yeah, let's go, man."
Agreed.
Like I think with Declan, it's he's fantastic. Again, he's my player of the season so far. I think with his positioning in the team, it's really a situational thing for me. It's like if we're playing a game where we want to press really high up, then we use someone else at the 6 and put him a little further forward. If we're playing a more defensive style where we really just want to protect the center of the pitch, we want nothing to, like, say against Real Madrid in a couple weeks. Declan as a 6, as a pure 6, just destroying shit, that works for me as well, with someone else at the 8. That said, I think as an 8, I would really love to see him on the right side of the pitch, on his strong foot, rather than on the left side of the pitch. I really think that would open up his game so much. I've seen him sort of make those runs on occasion at Arsenal. I've seen him do it for England a little bit, and I feel like Arteta needs to consider that. Like, even right now, given where we are as a club, with the injuries and all that, I would just love to see him switch, just for sections of the game. Just put Rice as a right 8 and Odegaard as a left 8, and let's just see what happens. I feel like it would be good. But I'm not Mikel, and he doesn't listen to this pod, to my knowledge. If not, Odegaard would be deported by now. But that's neither here nor there. Let's not get into all that. We're going to rewind again because I'm terrible at being a host. Benjamin White, we skipped him when we were talking about defenders. We sort of mentioned him, but we didn't really get into his season. Obviously, it's been very injury hit. Gabby, what do you make of our boy Benny? I think we all love him. We're glad to have him back, but he still needs some time to get up to speed. But how would you evaluate the season so far?
4 out of 5. I don't care. 4 out of 5. He hasn't played, and when he did play, I mean, he got done maybe one time. In one of the games, I forgot who it was against. He just looked a little bit rusty. But when we all know what Ben White is, steady Eddie. Like, as soon as he gets like fully up to speed again, match like sharp, he'll be fine. Like, we talked about him being a rotational piece for right back in at center back, and the way that I view Ben White personally, I would rather put Timber inward. I think he's more robust of a defender, and leave Ben White on the right to play with Saka. I think we've been missing his. I know Saka's been out for a while. At least it feels like the whole season, but it's not been. It's only been since December. But I feel like we've been missing that overlapping like chemistry that he has with Saka. Granted, my criticism of Ben White has always been his attacking output, if that makes sense. I feel like he should get more assists for the spaces that he ends up in. But other than that, I have no complaints about him. No complaints.
Well said.
Keep
Coach, 2 questions for you. 1, who is the worst 1v1 defender? Ben White or Calafiori?
Calafiori. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And the second question I forgot because I do things I probably shouldn't do anymore, but I'm not going to reveal what they are. That said, what do you make of his season?
Yeah, he's first of all, Ben White is a warrior, like absolute warrior, and I hate the fact that he's like that because he probably should have had this surgery probably close to maybe a year ago. I'd say like he's just been playing on it, and he's given us some amazing performances despite the fact that he's been injured for this long. But I feel like the Timber injury kind of forced our hand a little bit there, and obviously Tomiyasu as well, not being fit as well. Again, the knock-on effects of Tomiyasu signing.
They all should have had the surgery in the summer.
So yeah, but yeah, Ben White for me, regardless of him not playing that much this season, I'm always gonna love Ben White. The premature shots of we don't need him anymore, I just think it's just crazy. Ben White is a supreme footballer, and Tuchel even coming back and saying, look, he's just back from injury, it's too early to pick him. He's probably going to the World Cup. Like let's make no bones about it. He's probably going to the World Cup, and that's going to be at the expense of that log. Dan Burn, like he's just a placeholder there, kind of thing. Like Ben White is going to the World Cup, and yeah, love him. When him and Saka are fit, we probably won't particularly need Odegaard to play on the right. We actually won't need it anymore because them two are more than enough for me, to my estimation at least. Anyway.
Yeah, well, we shall see. Now we're getting closer to midfield, but I'm going to pick this guy as the next guy to evaluate because I'm a troll. The final member of our midfield, Kai Havertz.
Oh, God.
Gabby, that's your boy. I think until he got injured, he was ahead of Declan Rice for me as player of the season.
That is a shout.
That's really how I feel about that. I feel like he was really stepping up in ways that people don't really give him enough credit for. Look at the goal tally. He's still the leading scorer for the team, even though he's been injured for weeks.
I was going to say that.
And when he had a really bad pair of games, I think it was, I want to say, FA Cup against United, where we were wearing those cursed white kits, and he was just returning from a knee injury / sickness. So he gets a pass there for me. And there's one other game I'm forgetting, but, those are the only 2 games I can point to where he was below the level for me. Otherwise, I think he's done a really fantastic job for the most part, given the variety of roles he's had to fulfill for us this season before his injury. And it's actually a shock that he got injured at all. Like he feels like one of those guys that would never pick up a real serious injury than he did.
I blame Arteta.
All right, well, go on from there, Arteta hater. What do you make of Kai in the season?
the way that Arteta has been using this man like a bar soap, like in every position at this point, he next to Odegaard, he runs the most in our team, 100%. He is constantly running. Like that boy never gets hurt, and the fact that he got hurt this season shows me exactly what was going on in our team. It's unfortunate because I feel like Kai happens like people view him as a moments person, which he's not that. But he unfairly view him as a moments person. The moments against United, the moments against Newcastle, like the misses, those things, they'll blame him for that. And I'm like, but he's still our top scorer. Do you not see the problem? Like, you know what I mean? Like, and his best season for us was last season, obviously. That second half of the season was, I chest kiss. I couldn't have asked for more. I couldn't have asked for more. If if his left winger would have done some good, we could have won the league that year. But I just feel like Kai is one of those players that you have to have in your squad. You just have to. He never complains. He's almost always available, and he gets you whether you like him or not. 100% Kai gets you at least 15 goals a season. Like if he didn't get hurt, I think he still ends up at the end of the year still ends up with 15 goals a season. And that's not all comps. That's just in the Prem. He has 9 goals in the Prem, and he got them all in the first, 3 months. The first 2 or 3 months. And I'm just like, he can't do everything. You know what I'm saying? I mean, of course there are facets to his game that I wish were better, of course. His ball striking ability sometimes is very aggravating. Very aggravating.
Odegaard should have been hanging out with him and his wife so often because I think that's just infectious. They got your start.
It's very aggravating. But listen, I just don't think he's a number 9. Like I will say, I will continue to speak on that. I don't think he's a number 9. That's why we're playing him as a false 9. He needs help. And when Saka was there, I said Saka Verts was going to get us out the hood because they were balling for a while. They were balling, and it's so fitting that he scored our first goal of the season. And the way he scored that first goal of the season was so peak 9, if that makes sense. Like cross into the box, big man in the box, head the ball into the goal. That's it. And we haven't seen enough of that, but I still give Kai at least a 3.5, a 3.8 maybe out of the season. I think he's been good.
He gets an easy 4 for me. Coach, you were at the United game, and I remember you hitting the group chat when he had that one miss. You were ready to sell this motherfucker. How do you feel out of the moment?
The league home game, right?
I'm not really sure, but he missed a chance in some game, and you were not having it. You were fuming.
Yeah, it was probably I wasn't. I don't think I was at the FA Cup game, but yeah, he probably missed it. He missed it. The thing is, Kai Havertz misses chances every game, like all strikers do. Like it's fine. Like it is what it is. It's. I don't have any complaints about Kai Havertz, and he's probably the one member of our squad that I respect the most by a country mile, because regardless of what people think about him, the guy is just you're talking about him whether he plays well or not because of he's everywhere. He's always available doing shit. And while I'm not going to blame Arteta for his injury, I think it's a testament to the fact that he's played so much and he's kept himself in such good condition to the point where his body did break down. Like injuries happen in football. Arteta should have rotated him. I get it. I hear it. He probably should have found another option and all of that. But when when you make yourself that integral to the team kind of thing, what are you supposed to do? Like not play? Like So I respect him for that. He personally, for me, I'd give him a probably generous. I'd give him a 4. I'd give him a 4 because of especially the period where like Odegaard was out. You know what I mean? And then obviously and then Saka went down as well, kind of thing. He did what he actually helped us out a bunch in those periods while these players weren't fit. I go back to the PSG game, like that header to me was almost like a, I'm here kind of thing. I'm your guy. Give me the ball in this area kind of thing. I'll make something happen. And I'm pleased with him. I just think he would end up being an expensive rotational piece. But that's the nature of where we're at in terms of.
That's what you think. That's what everyone thinks until they look at the starting lineups for whoever coach is coaching him, and he's in the starting lineup.
Yeah,
whether it's Nagelsmann, Whether it's
Simple as that.
Tuchel, it doesn't
Yeah,
matter who his manager is. He plays. The
yeah,
end.
and that's fine. I personally think what's gonna happen is we are absolutely signing a striker for big money, regardless of what you class as big money, whether it's 60, 70 million, whether you think it's 80, 90, 100 million kind of thing. We're signing one. And what's probably going to happen, it's going to annoy me and annoy a lot of people, is Kai Havertz is going to move back into the left 8 role. That's the most likely outcome out of everything that we're going to move. We're going to suggest when we.
Which everyone needs to stop thinking of as the left 8 role and start thinking of as the second striker role. That's really what it is. And
Yeah, of course.
it might even be on the right side.
Yeah, that's the thing. I've always said that the 4-4-2 is coming back. Kind of, I think I said it 2 seasons ago, should I say? And we saw it last season. We even saw it at the beginning. We saw it at the beginning of last season, particularly I think in the PSV game in the Champions League, where Trossard, Jesus, Havertz, and Saka all started, kind of thing. And that wasn't a left 8 role he was playing there. He was very much the second striker, rotating with Jesus. So yeah, I'm pleased with him. I just think he won't be our main striker next season. I don't see that happening next season for sure.
Nor should he
Agree.
be. Now we move over to the left, the Bermuda Triangle of the Arsenal team. Leandro Trossard. Personally, if there's money to be had, I think we should take it. What do you think, Gabby? Oh, she agrees.
Yeah. Listen, I'm gonna give my hot take now. If it was up to me, I'm selling both those left wingers. They're both out the door. And I know we're not gonna sell them both. So if you had to choose between one, if it came down to production wise, I would keep Trossard. But I just think he's not what Arteta wants, and he's not what we need on the left side either. So you keep Martinelli because he's the only one of his profile, and Trossard goes out the door. I think we're hearing a bit too much about this, trying to get a deal done in an extension, and I don't think we should do that. I don't think we should do that unless you are going to get. I mean, granted, we have been linked with Nico Williams, and I probably think we get him. But unless you're going to get like a Rodrigo or something on that left side, you don't keep Trossard. Don't keep Trossard. Sell him. Sell him.
Honestly, I'm taking any amount. Coach, how you feeling?
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful servant to the club. I really appreciate the work he's done for us. Gotten us out of many sticky situations. But yeah, get rid in the summer, 100%. No issue with that. I'm keeping Martinelli 1,000,000% because you get rid of Martinelli and then now you're having to sign 2 players that can sprint at a ridiculously fast level. So I'm keeping Martinelli just purely for the fact that he's quick.
All right, before we throw this to Gabby, since you moved us over to Martinelli, your grade for Trossard this season?
3.
And for Martinelli?
2.8.
Yeah. Gabby, same questions. Your grade for Trossard?
Trossard gets like a 2.5 for me, for real. Maybe a 3. Maybe. I don't think he's been good this season, for real. But Martinelli gets like you don't want to know the number. He gets like a 1, a 2,
oh my goodness.
Maybe.
Martinelli being the worst performer that we've discussed so far is difficult for me to accept.
Yeah,
he hasn't been great, but I think he's been
but
far better
that's
than
the problem. You guys are, it's the potential, he could
It's
be
not
the
potential.
Pele
No,
Nora
it's what
thing,
he's done.
I'm telling you.
Okay. If he does nothing else for the rest of the season, we don't score 5 against City with the running that he does, with the stretching that he's so put it like this, and it's coming again against Real Madrid. If we're gonna get anything from this tie, if we're gonna give, it's gonna hinge on how well we utilize Martinelli. That it's that simple. People have this idea of Martinelli and what he should be doing and and it's just it's very hard for me to be harsh on him when he's been fighting for fitness for near enough 2 years at this point. That's what the harsh reality is. He's been fighting fitness for a long time now, and now that he looks like he's kind of over it now, kind of thing. Now that now we sell him. It's no, we need to reinforce our attack, and he needs to be a part of this attack. As far as I'm concerned, if we're selling him, we're spending even more money, and we're going to be talking about our attack is short again. Our attack is this. Our attack. No, Martinelli's a player that you supplement. Like you supplement him, and you potentially use him as a rotational piece. For me, like there's very few players that I'm so certain that I want to keep more than Martinelli. Like he has to stay, only purely for the fact that we're gonna have to go to market again if we sell him. Like, and I'm just not in the bit. I just don't want to do that.
I just think his perfect role is about to open up unless he wants to change our mind and force his way back into the starting lineup. But I think there's a future where Trossard leaves, someone else comes in to replace Trossard, and that someone else is one of the people Mikel wants on the wing. Let's say Nico Williams, for instance. But we'll talk about that in a little bit on the next episode of this Arsenal summer evaluation type thing. But I think he'd be perfect off the bench. I would love him as the first attack off the bench. And I think with time, he can develop enough to become a starter again. I really see that sort of future for him.
Oh, see, I disagree with you there. I do think he's a good attacking piece off the bench. I'll give him that. If you don't want to spend any more money, which we are not Chelsea, so we cannot do that.
It makes no sense to sell him for me personally. Like, just it makes no sense, man.
I say sell him in a perfect world. Like, if we had all the money in the world and we could do whatever we want,
it's not
yes,
FIFA.
I would sell him. But I think that if you have to choose between him and Trossard, you keep Martinelli. He's the only one of his profile. He's the only one who's a fast sprinter.
Definitely. Gabby Jesus, obviously we're not going to see him for a while. He did his ACL in January. Right as he was returning to form. I'll let Coach go first on this one. We can't sell him while he's hurt. So say we know exactly when he's going to be fit. Are we aiming to sell him in the January window? Well, we have to build his value up. So really, I'm not really sure we should discuss him. I guess it's better to discuss his remontada. I thought we were getting the player back when he got hurt. Because I remember him scoring something like 6 and 7 games or something like that when he got hurt.
5 in a week. Literally 5 in a week.
Against the same team, by the way, but go on.
Yeah,
hey, man. At least it's not Moldova.
They all count, man.
I saw your tweet, Gabby. I saw your little Odegaard tweet about Moldova. I saw that too.
Yeah. But like Gabby Jesus, like I was really pleased for him. The fact that before he started scoring as well, he actually looked physically. Like, the burst was there, but the burst was back, and I remember specifically talking about it on a pod where it looked like physically, okay, yeah, he looks back then, and then a hat trick comes, then a brace comes, kind of thing, and then some good performances, kind of are sprinkled around that, and then before you know it, does his ACL. It's really just rotten luck, man. Like, it's really, really rotten luck, and his sort of profile in attack is really, 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 really undervalued. I think people underrate what he gave. Like, even if he didn't score goals, he created panic because 2 things: dribbling through the center of the pitch. Like, it is the most valuable thing in football to me. Like, but bar nothing else. If you can beat men through the center of the pitch, high up, like your team's gonna do well. And there's a striker that we're looking at that can do that, obviously. But yeah, that for me, yeah, I feel sorry for him. But yeah, sell him when we put his value up again.
All right, guys. I think we've covered all the relevant squad members. So now we'll talk about the loanees that are at Arsenal and the loanees that are on loan away from Arsenal. And this should not take us very long at all. Raheem Sterling, Jamaica, it's up to you now. Okay.
Get that Jamaican man out of here. Next.
Coach, what number would you place on this season? Obviously, it's been a disappointment. There might still be a moment, but too much has happened, or too much hasn't happened for me to say this can be any kind of success. What would you rate his season so far?
Yeah, somebody gave Martinelli a 1. I think this person is way closer to the 1. Even though I wouldn't give him a 1, I'd give him just a 2. I'll give him a 2 just based off the fact that I know that he's working quite closely with Wanyeri, and the other young attackers as well. Like, I know that they're looking to him as as the OG and shit. So I appreciate that. I appreciate him assisting Wanyeri's first ever Premier League goal as well. And the I tell you what, the yellow card against PSV as well, I appreciate that as well. So yeah.
All right, fair enough. I will give him a 6 out of 5, and the 6 stands for a 6-pack of red stripe. Take that shit and get the fuck out. Neto, we haven't even seen him, so we're just skipping past this. This was a waste of a loan. if we had left this spot empty, we could have gotten someone in January. That's how I think about it.
Listen, I should slap me for that. The nonsense.
All right, the loans that are away, we're gonna speed run this. It's basically I just want a one-word response from each of you. Keep or sell. That's what we're doing here. Keep or sell. Fabio Vieira, keep or sell. Gabby,
So,
coach.
Keep.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's that 10 thing you were talking about earlier. I see where you're going with that. I'm sort of indifferent, so I wouldn't mind selling him. I just don't think we can get enough value back for him based on what we spent. So we kind of got to build him up a little bit more, I think. But I wouldn't mind selling him. You know.
I appreciate him. I just don't think Arteta can get what he needs out of him. He needs to go
Yeah.
to another team, and then he'll be something.
I think so. Reece Nelson.
So,
Okay. Marquinhos.
Don't.
I know. As your people will say, I'm taking the piss. But he's on the list. I'm sorry, So we got to sell him. I know what that is. Carl Hines.
he's leaving for free.
Carl Hines has had a decent season at Valladolid. He's on loan until the end of the season. What are we thinking? Because we do need goalkeepers, senior goalkeepers.
We do. I wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't mind keeping him, but I think we're gonna sell him. So.
Yeah, I think he's at the age where he needs to be playing, and he's not going to play enough to justify having him at the club, so he needs to go. Nuno Tavares, one of the assist leaders in Italy. He's still with us.
For sure, sell.
Coach, you don't want to keep an athlete?
Yeah, so. But I think how many, depending on how many years he's got in his contract, we could. Actually, no, he's going to Italy. We're not getting anything decent.
I think there's an option to buying that contract, and Lazio will probably take us up on that. I think
they'll take it.
Yeah. And finally, the guy that was supposed to be the sixth of the future, but Vincent Kompany is a fucking liar. Albert Sambi-Lokonga. He's had a bit of an injury hit season at Sevilla, but I know he's a definite sell for both of you. I assume.
For sure, 100%.
All right. Well, this
don't
wraps
listen to bald men anymore.
Well said. My bad, Gabby. This wraps up the squad evaluation section of this podcast. We're going to do another edition of this where we discuss the actual summer, which is buying players. This is the part that Gabby really attended this taping for.
Yeah.
So
that's when we will have problems.
Yeah, that's where the problems will be merged. And stay tuned for that. Hope you enjoyed this episode in an international week. We will get back to you with that other episode in a couple days after this one. So just stay tuned. You know what to tell the people?
Peace.
Hey folks, this is Deen from the Shirtless Plantain Show. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, and follow us on all our socials. You can see them right beneath our recordings in every video. Thanks again, and see you on the next one.